Morning, welcome to the forecast discussion for March 25th, 2013. It is 8:40 a.m. and it is snowing out here in Freehold, New Jersey. Not anything is sticking, but it's snowing in late March. When is winter going to go away? Because I need a vacation. So let's take a look at what's happening here. We have temperatures in the lower to mid 30s over the northern interior and along the coast, where temperatures basically range from 33 to 37 degrees. As you move further inland towards central Pennsylvania, that is where you find your freezing line. Now, I am getting reports of snow accumulation, especially over southeastern Pennsylvania, and right along the Delaware River, where we are seeing some enhanced lifting from our upper level disturbance. As you head towards the coast, temperatures are well above freezing and snow accumulation is much harder to be found. Of course, as you move towards Connecticut, not much at all is happening. Variable cloud cover with temperatures in the lower to mid 30s. Same thing over northern New Jersey and northeastern Pennsylvania. So, what is causing all this mayhem? Well, what we have here is an area of low pressure that is starting to take over the basically the Virginia and Delaware coastal waters here and Maryland coastal waters. This coastal low is what's going to produce periods of heavy precipitation, most likely snow, over portions of central and southern New Jersey and southeastern Pennsylvania, and light to moderate snow over portions of Connecticut, the Hudson River Valley, northern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, and New York City Metro and Long Island. The question here with this forecast is what wins out, the strong lifting or the higher sun angle, the warm Atlantic or the strong lifting. That is pretty much what this whole forecast comes down to. If the strong lifting is able to cool the low levels of the atmosphere to, let's say, 31 to 33 degrees, then you end up with snow accumulation that could push as high as 6 inches. If you don't, you get a lot of, well, basically a trace to maybe 3 inches of snow and a lot of wet roadways. So we're watching this very carefully. I'm on the low side of this forecast based on, for one, the timing of the storm mostly happening in the afternoon when the heaviest precipitation falls. And I think that is going to be a major problem with snowfall accumulation. Taking a look at the latest radar, here we are with the snow developing over central Pennsylvania and pushing east, pushing over to Philadelphia Metro. Now, this is pretty impressive lifting going on right now, thus the snowfall accumulation. But now the sun's starting to rise. That lifting is starting to abate for now as we start to get the transition to the coastline starting to take place. Originally, the primary was out here. Now that primary is starting to take over along the coast, and you can see the precipitation shield really organizing over the past 6 hours as a result. But also notice we're getting a lot of warm air fighting back here. And while the mid-levels are certainly cold enough for snow, the surface, again, as you saw, was still a bit warm. So some areas are seeing accumulation, especially away from the Atlantic. Other areas, not so much. When we take a look at the infrared satellite picture, you can see the development of that coastal low starting to take shape. Notice the cloud tops are getting colder as lifting is starting to become stronger and more enhanced. We're starting to see blues and yellows here, strongly suggesting rising air is really starting to develop, pushing those cloud tops higher into the atmosphere. And in the water vapor satellite picture, here's our strong upper level low, and you can clearly see it's starting to shift towards the coast. We're starting to see a lot more lifting, starting to focus more towards the mid-Atlantic. And you can see how the upper level low is kind of becoming elongated here as it's starting to produce, as it's starting to set up that jump towards the coastline that will help to enhance lifting along the mid-Atlantic coast. So here's the basic question with this forecast. This is the latest RAP model guidance that I've been using that I like to use during these type of nowcasting situations. It kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of what's evolving here, a little bit of a preview over the next 12 to 18 hours. And when we take a look, here is where the heaviest precipitation is going to set up. This is around, let's say, anywhere between 11 a.m. through 5 p.m. Okay? That's when we're expecting to see this heavy precipitation really set up over central and southern New Jersey and just clipping southern portions of Long Island. So the question is, does this heavy precipitation, the development of it, cool the atmosphere enough to lower temperatures? When we look at 700 millibars, I'm noticing something very interesting with the latest runs from the WRAP guidance, and that is that the best dynamics are remaining off of the coast. Now, if this actually happens, this basically changed the whole game plan here. Because what that means is that the strongest lifting, the strongest rising air is over the Atlantic and not over the New Jersey coast. And so when you take that into account, your coolest temperatures were going to happen now. That's normally going to happen. And with precipitation coming in and basically wet bulbing, which is basically where the atmosphere cools to the point to allow for precipitation, you're basically at marginal temperatures in the lower to mid 30s over portions of southeastern Pennsylvania and southern New Jersey. So the question now is that are those conditions able to remain sustained with lifting more focused off the coast? If the WRAP model guidance is correct, and we're going to have to watch that and see how that evolves. Because if this sets up as such, then New Jersey misses the bulk of the best dynamics, and as a result, the best cooling rates. If this is more right along the New Jersey coast or right over central and southern New Jersey, then you're going to see a lot faster cooling of the atmosphere, and as a result, snowfall accumulations over the forecasted amounts I have right now. So that's pretty much the whole question here. And you can see the influence of what happens with that lifting more off the coast. So here we are right now, our air mass is cooled off as expected. We're in the mid 30s for the most part, a few lower 30s here and there, especially to the west of Philadelphia, performing pretty much what is expected, especially with precipitation coming in. But as the sun kind of has its influence on the atmosphere, you can see those temperatures basically moderate just enough, and you can see the influence of the strong lifting off the coast where temperatures fall or remain steady in around the 33, 34 degree range. But notice as you move a little bit more inland, basically from the Jersey coast on west towards Philadelphia, those temperatures warm up into the upper 30s because your best dynamics are off the coast. So if this lifting sets up over the New Jersey coast, then you end up with more snow. If it doesn't, or if that lifting is not strong enough to overcome the higher sun angle and the influences from the Atlantic, then you end up with a lot of rain and snow, and basically your best accumulation is right now at 8:48 a.m. and not this afternoon where the heaviest precipitation will set up, but the temperatures will be too warm for accumulation. So as a result, here's the forecast I have in place. I still like a trace to 3 inches throughout the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. Your best shot at 3 inches is going to be away from the coast, especially let's say around Philadelphia and around the Delaware River. I think these locations, especially on cold grassy surfaces, will have an excellent shot at seeing 3 inches of snow in this type of setup. Further west, like around Reading and Lancaster, 3 to 6 inches is an excellent shot. Further north, the snow will be able to accumulate, but the precipitation shield will not be as extensive. So only 2 to 4 inches, most locations around 2. A trace to 2 inches further north, like around most of Connecticut, especially around Hartford and northeastern Pennsylvania and around Poughkeepsie. And of course, the New York City metropolitan area, I still like a trace to 3 inches, most of the accumulation on cold surfaces. After this storm leaves, high pressure is pretty much in control. We're using the Penn State EWAL website, the European model guidance. High pressure is going to be in control. A few disturbances here and there might produce an isolated shower here or there. But the good news is that we finally start to moderate a bit. Now, we're still going to be below normal, but at least we're going to be in the upper 40s to mid 50s, somewhat more comfortable than, let's say, the upper 30s. And I don't see any other snow threats at all setting up, with basically a quiet weather pattern heading into Easter. So I hope everyone's having a happy Passover, a happy Easter coming up, and we'll keep an eye on this storm and have live coverage throughout the day and see exactly how this storm evolves. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. You can follow the latest weather information at nynjpaweather.com and nynjpaweather on Twitter and Facebook. Have a great day. Stay safe out there.